Hello everybody and welcome to a Imperial Assault stream. Tonight we are doing a little list building in the Rebel faction, which means we are playing around with the new Spectre cell group. As you can see, I got a nice new camera. It's all HD and not blurry at all like my old one. So, very nice to have that. It's the Logitech HD 930. If any of you guys are interested in the equipment I use. But without further ado, let's get started on this. So, I have not put together a list at all for Spectre Cell. So, let's just get started with the basics. It's a rebel list, obviously. We're taking Ezra. We're taking Hera, Kanan, Zeb. We're also taking let's see who else. Ezra. Oh, we got Chopper here. And Sabine. Okay. We also have Spectre Cell, which has not been added into the Vassal module yet, so we'll just use Fury of Kashyyyk as a placeholder, which gives us 39 points, so we have 1 point remaining. There's two directions you can go with the last point. They're both neutral. One is extra armor, and one is doubt. The advantage of extra armor is you can put the block tokens on Kanan and Ezra because those two figures are very important to the list. If Kanan dies, the list falls apart a little bit. The advantage of doubt is it counters extra armor in other lists because you can remove those block tokens, but it doesn't remove them as fast as they get put up, so the tempo is a little slower with doubt. The other advantage of doubt is you can deplete it to force an offensive reroll, which can be really useful for canceling a full attack. You can use it against the Spectre squad to cancel like a Sabine attack, forcing her to reroll her blue die and then tough lucking it so she misses on range. So it can be a very useful card. I think they're both useful. We're going to play around with both. Just to start things off, though, we'll use doubt. The command card list, I have some basic stuff. Give me 1 second. We are definitely going to start with some smuggler cards because out of all the different traits, smuggler is the strongest and has the most synergy in the list. We have Hera and Ezra, who are both smugglers. And we also have Sabine as a hunter. Hunter is somewhat related to smuggler because you can use tools for the job. So tools for the job is vitally important in this list. Sabine, Ezra, or Hera can use it, which makes it very good. And it's just a good card overall to start with. We're also going to use On the Lam because On the Lam is arguably the best command card in the game, besides maybe Son of Skywalker and Blaze of Glory. So very good pick there. Then we're going to move to some neutral cards. Let's see. These are for any figure. We are going to pick out Tough Luck. Tough Luck is pretty much mandatory when you are playing with Doubt because it's the Doubt combo that can cancel an attack. But it's just in general a useful card anyway. We are also going to take Urgency. That's a very useful card for helping Zeb and Kanan to keep up with Ezra. Especially Zeb, because he needs to get in position to use his free attack every turn. So I think that's an essential card there. We are also going to take initiative. Even though we don't have a large amount of activations, it's still very useful to start the round with initiative, especially because if we have initiative, we can get a really huge activation off early in the round between Ezra, Kanan, and the Spectre Cell second ability, which gives you a free 2 movement points and attack. It can just be really powerful. Pummel, I think, is going to be useful for this group. We have Kanan and Ezra, who can both use it. In fact, Chopper can use it as well, although he probably won't be. But it's usually hard to pull off because you need some extra movement points to set it up. Well, Ezra has Brash, which can help set it up, and Spectre Cell gives you 2 movement points, which can help set it up as well. So I think Pummel might be a good card to have here. Negation, of course, is mandatory in every list. We are also going to put in Planning. Planning is a very good card if drawn early, but if you draw it late, it's kind of loses its value a bit. I still think it's decent, though. We're going to leave it in here as a placeholder for now. I think it's good enough to take. Let's see what else. We are also going to take Officer's Training. This list has a lot of trouble with card draw, so any card that gives you a free draw is going to be really useful. Rebel Graffiti is it's actually an any figure card. It's really Sabine's card, but it can be used by any Rebel figure. This card is just a monstrously powerful card for 0, giving you up to 10 to 12 victory points in a game if you draw it early and it doesn't get negated. Definitely taking that one. We also have Force Rush. So we're going to get into some more specific cards now. Force Rush is very good on Ezra and Kanan. I think it's mandatory in this list. We need some movement cards. I think Force Rush is probably the best option. Also, Element of Surprise is another one that we'd like to squeeze in. So far, we have some very powerful 0 cost cards. A couple of ones. So we have a cheap list. We can afford to get expensive here. So we're also going to put in Dying Lunge. I think this card is amazing, especially in this list. Ezra and Kanan can both use it, so it's a very good ability. They both have very strong attacks, so this could be potentially like a 6 or 7 damage attack here for 2. I think it's just too good to pass up. Very good card for 2. Force Push is pretty decent. Both Kanan and Ezra can use it. You can use this to set up the combo with Pummel, or you can use it to set up the Spectre Cell combo. I think it's very versatile, and I think we can afford it in the list, so we'll leave it in for now, which gives us 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're actually really low. We can actually afford to upgrade some of these. We are going to think about Heart of Freedom. Healing is actually decent when you have good defense, and all of these guys have amazing defense, especially Ezra. So Heart of Freedom might be one we want to take. It also negates the harmful conditions, which are good against this list, so Heart of Freedom might be a great option. Some other ones we can think about. Force Surge is pretty good, especially because you can use it at the end of your activation to set up a Spectre Cell attack during the next person's activation. Say you want to finish someone off and move 2 spaces closer to a different enemy target. You could use Force Surge to do that. Some more just general versatile stuff. Veteran Instincts is a okay choice. Prepared for Battle is decent value. We also have, of course, Brace for Impact is always good. Death Blow is very strong. And Strength in Numbers can set up some wacky shenanigans. Here it is. Let me paint you a picture with Strength in Numbers. Let's say you have initiative. You can start the round with Hera, and you could say attack Vader with Hera. Maybe she does 2 damage, or 3, I don't know, a couple damage. And then you have Ezra go. Sorry, before that, during Hera's activation, she uses Spectre Cell to give Ezra an attack. So Ezra has attacked Vader once, Hera has attacked Vader once. Ezra also got 2 movement points before that attack, plus 4 from Brash. So all he has to do is be 6 spaces away to make this work. And then you play Strength in Numbers to activate Ezra, and now he's adjacent to Vader. Ezra plays Pummel, so he gets 2 more attacks. So now Vader has taken a Hera attack and 3 Ezra attacks. Pair that with something like Death Blow, and that could be a dead Vader in 1 activation. So that's the dream. Unfortunately, with this list, it's going to be tough because you don't have that good card draw. So it's hard to set up combos like that. But it is a possibility for sure. Some other options we have. There's also some leaders in this group. So you could play around with something like Advanced Warning, which allows you and an adjacent friendly figure to each gain a movement point. This is good for Kanan and Ezra because they like to stick together. And if they move up together, Ezra gets Kanan's defensive bonus, and he also gets his offensive much to learn bonus. So all around a decent card. So let's see again where we're at. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we actually could upgrade one more thing. We're actually doing pretty well for ourselves right now. We could actually upgrade Force Push to Assassinate. So that would give Sabine a really strong attack. And I think we want to be playing pretty safe with Sabine between Rebel Graffiti and just the fact that she is the least tanky of the group. So it might be decent to give her a big tool to use. So let's put all these guys down here for now. So we don't need them. And welcome DEFCON, by the way. So right now we only have 1 copy of Pummel. I think that returns on Pummel diminish a lot if you have 2. I've played around with Pummel a lot in my old 2017 Worlds list because I was running Gamorrean cards and Shyla. It's pretty easy to set up 1, but sometimes it's hard to rely on 2, especially because you usually kill if you get the first one off, that target usually gets killed. So you need to set up a separate target for the second Pummel. So I think just running 1 is okay. Yeah, it's true. The card draw issue is there, but if you do draw both of them, that makes your already limited hand into 1 less usable card, and we're trying to minimize the amount of dead cards we have in hand. So I think 1 Pummel's probably okay. In fact, we could upgrade Pummel to Assassinate as well. We have 2 points to play with. Let's see here. So I feel really comfortable with where the list is at right now. The question is, what can we drop and what benefits the most? I think, man, dropping Pummel for Assassinate seems really good. Honestly, Pummel seems more fun, but Assassinate might just be generally better. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15. All the 1-cost cards seem more pliable than the 0-cost. Honestly, the 0-cost cards seem really amazing. The exception being maybe Planning could be dropped for something else. But I feel like we need to keep Force Rush and Officers Training and Rebel Graffiti for sure. Element of Surprise maybe could get dropped, but it is nice to have that guarantee that your attack is going to land. Especially for Sabine. So we'll call this deck 1 for now. I feel pretty comfortable where it's at. We're just going to go save it as let's see. We'll call this Spectre Cell CC's 1. Yeah, honestly, we have such a good set of 0-cost cards now. It's almost like the 0-cost cards are better than the 1-cost cards a lot of the time. You honestly can play with less than 15 points in your command card deck, and that doesn't necessarily mean you're running a suboptimal deck. Some decks don't need all 15 points. There's not a ton of 3-cost cards that need to be in a deck compared to the auto-include 0-cost cards. So, yeah, sometimes you'll end up with a deck that's like 14 points and it's fine. Of course, in this deck, since we do have such a wide variety of traits, it's not hard to find really good cards in each of those traits. So this is our first option. I think I want our second option to be more of a wombo combo type deck, which means we want strength and numbers in there for something, and we want Pummel in there for something. So we're probably going to have to downgrade Assassinate to Pummel, which gives us 2 points to play around with. So let's try taking out Planning for strength and numbers. Well, actually, we kind of need Planning to set up the combo. Maybe this will be our non-doubt list. Maybe this will be our extra armor list. In which case we could afford to take out Tough Luck, maybe. Although I feel like Tough Luck is just such a good card generally anyway. You probably don't want to take it out even if you aren't running Doubt. Especially now that we have a big white die figure that rerolls in Ezra. I guess we'll sacrifice Urgency because you can't use both Urgency and Pummel. And we do have Heart of Freedom to give us movement points, so we do have quite a variety of movement point cards. Which means we need to add one more. Deathblow would be a nice part of the combo too. I'm honestly not sure if Deathblow is just better than any of the cards we already have, though. So, I honestly think we might stick with a 14-point list here. Brace for Impact might be nice, but this is our aggressive version of the deck. It's not reliant on the combo, but it does like to use the combo. We could put in another pummel, because there's no guarantee you're going to draw it. I actually like that idea for this deck. We're just playing around, so you never know. Let's just throw in another pummel for now. See how it goes. What are we gonna put it in for though? Let's take out officers training for now. Or element of surprise. You're not gonna be able to use element of surprise when you're using pummel because you'll already have line of sight to the person at the beginning of your activation in general. But that'll be, this will be our pummel list, so we're gonna go ahead and save this as, I guess we gotta save this as Tyrants of Lothal, Spectre Cell, pummel CCs. Okay. You can go ahead and draw 15 to get them out of this spot. That's a nice little trick for Vassal. So we can go ahead and save our actual deployment cards now. Okay, and that's it. That's the basics of how you build a Spectre Cell list. I think you can get creative a little bit with adding or taking out more movement cards, playing around the different combos you can do with pummel and strength in numbers, or abandoning the combo to just get general value. I think there's a bunch of different routes you can go with that, but what I've put together are two pretty different lists that have most of the same cards, if that makes sense. But I kind of went through my thought process on what each of those lists does well there. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how I'm imagining the list will be played. I'm sure I'll be able to get in some games with this list soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed this short little stream, and I will catch you guys next time. Thanks.